Guys, alright, today we are going to be working on this beauty from Magical Dawn colouring book. Now this is a book that I'm doing alongside, I forgot her name on YouTube, that only has the colour scheme of purples, pinks, or red, pink, blue and green, and I'm doing the same in my book, following along with her. I guess like a bit of a colour along. So I have gone ahead and put down, let me show you, my colourless masking fluid all over the picture because I'm going to work on the background and I don't want any of it to get on the picture, but I also want the colour to come into the little spaces that I've missed as well. I don't want it to be white around the outside of my image. So what I'm going to try today is something that I saw Colour Me Stress Free doing, where she used her Inktense sticks to use them as a spray. So she's put them in a little spray container and used some water in there, and she's made her own sort of stain, I guess. So I have these Inktense pans. So I've scraped a little bit of the blue and the purple off into there, into these little spray bottles, just like she's done, with a little bit of water. So I'm going to use those, but I'm actually worried they're going to go through, so we'll see. I've also got these Kaisercraft. In Australia we have a shop called Kaisercraft, and it's a gold and a white iridescent shimmer spray inks, and I really like these as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the purple and the blue first, and then I'm going to come in with the gold and white mist over the top. So I kind of want a spittery, splattery coloured background. Like nothing too crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it from a distance because I don't want it to blob, because when I tested this out, the purple did blob quite badly. So before I do that, what I'm going to do is put a piece of paper over her so she doesn't get covered, and I'm just going to fold it onto this side so it stays better when I open it. Okay, there we go. Alright, so now she's covered, I can start the spraying. I'm a little bit worried because I have a feeling it's going to go through, but it is the bugs and I can do the background with black, so I'm not too overly worried, which is one of the reasons I picked this image. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the purple first, and I'm going to come at a distance. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit tricky with my camera there, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so I'm going to hold it back because I don't want it to be too blobby. Oh, this is coming out sideways, and get more of the spray happening like that. It's too blobby. That's okay. Once it's sort of all over, it's going everywhere. Okay, what I will do is wait for that to dry before I put the blue on. So I will get out my heat gun and I'll dry that, and I'll fast forward you guys so you're not watching and waiting. Okay, so let's dry it. Okay, so I've gone in with my heat gun and dried that off because I don't want to get the paper too wet, because once it's wet, that's when it's going to go through. Now it hasn't gone through, which I'm really happy with. It has crinkled, but that's fine. I don't mind that. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with some blue. Okay, let's go. Sorry, my hand's going to be in the way a bit, guys. Okay. And again, I will go in with my spray gun, with my heat gun. Okay, so I've dried her off. I'm going to come in with another layer of purple, I think. Okay. Now this one is spraying sideways, which is annoying me. And it's coming out really globby. That's all right. You get that. So what I've just been doing is going back where my colour has been applied onto the masking fluid. It doesn't dry very well, so I'm just coming in and dabbing it, so when I go to take it off, it's not going to smudge all over my white from my finger. Okay, so I'm going to give it another quick dry. Okay, so we're starting to get a little bit of curling from the drying, but that's okay. I can always put a book on it overnight before we start going in with coloured pencils. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is come in with my gold. And this one actually creates some blobs, which I don't mind, because I can get some bigger globules on there and some smaller ones, which is pretty cool. Okay, any blobs that are a bit too wet, I'm just going to blob off. And again, blobbing off those birds and off here. Okay, I'm going to come in and give it a dry and then wipe the rest off in a second. Anywhere? No. Okay, I'm quite liking that. I'm actually going to add a little bit more blue, just in a couple of the spaces that still have a little bit of white, just to get a bit more depth in there. A bit too much up here. Okay, come in and dry that again. Bob some of that off before I do. Okay, so she's all dry. I'm just going to blob off any extra paint from there. Okay, she's all dry, and you can see the beautiful gold shimmer in there with the mix of the blue and the purple. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll take this off. She's all protected. There's a little bit there, but that's okay. And it hasn't gone through. There's a little bit on the bottom, but that was from where the paper smushed behind it, but otherwise it hasn't gone through. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is with my finger, I'm going to start to peel off the masking fluid, and you'll start to see the picture that's left is wherever I've put the masking fluid. And I love this process. This is probably one of my favorite processes. And I've just got ink all over my table. But it is my art desk and it is messy, so I don't mind. Now the trick with this is once you've rolled it a little bit, you can pull it. But if you pull it the same way you're pulling, it rips the paper and it causes it to like pill up. So the thing that I do is I literally drag it across the paper away from where I'm wanting it to come up, and it will start to lift nicely without ripping the paper. I've noticed it works a lot better if you don't have, you know, ink and paint and stuff sitting on top of it, but this is pretty much the exact same thing that I do when I use like my Neo 2s, or I do a watercolor background or anything like that, even with my acrylics. So I keep going through, pulling. You can roll it with your finger as well if you like. I just don't like the feeling of it very much. I'm a bit of a textural person. Some bits you're going to find that you may have missed, and you might have a little bit of ink on the area that you didn't want it, but you just roll with it. That's what happens. It's never going to be perfect, but as you can see, it starts to develop. I love this process because of that. You actually get to see it coming to life, which is, yeah, super fun. I love that. Some bits where it's really thin, I just sort of roll it. So you can see I probably had it too thin down here, and some of the ink has gotten through, but that's okay. We can hide it with our pencil anyway, so not too worried. So yeah, pulling away from where the masking fluid is on your paper, because you don't want to rip. I've ripped so many pages. And finally, you know, the problem is that I get impatient and I start to move too quickly, just like I'm doing right now. And it causes it to lift in that opposite direction. Like when I'm rolling it, it's lifting it up and rolling it the way that you don't want it to be, which is why it ends up ripping. I'm just impatient. I know I need to sort of calm my farm sometimes, but time's precious. I don't have time to be wasting, so yeah, I get a bit impatient. But this, I just love this process. Once it's all off, it looks bloody amazing, because you can actually see the picture coming through what you think looks like a mess to begin with the background. So especially when you've got things like this ink which sits and stains the masking fluid, you're like, oh no, but it actually doesn't stay like that, which is really cool. Oh, there's a good one. Yay, that was a good piece. This is going to look so cool. I haven't decided what colors to do yet. I know like the book is following that color scheme of the pinks, purples, blues and greens. I haven't decided what color to do the birds or the gems yet. I'm thinking purple gems to sort of go with that background, and maybe blue and pink for the birds. I'm not sure yet. I love when it comes away like that. Just nice and easy. Oh, look, this is awesome. It's looking so good. I'm excited. And then birdie free. Oh, I just love how it pops off that background once it's all pulled off. I also do this when I do my ink backgrounds too, by the way, guys. So if I'm doing Neo 2s or my ink background, I always use my masking fluid. Yes, it's a little bit more fiddly than just putting the ink straight down or the Neo 2s down and sort of working your way around the picture, but I find it just makes it so much crispier, and you can get that background right up to the edges of your image, so you don't have any white space around the image. Personally, that's how I like it. That's my style. I like it coming all the way up to the edge of the image. And yeah, that just, I find it, for me, I like the way it looks more than trying to go around the image and apply it that way. So okay guys, that is my background done. Super easy. Yeah, I actually really like that method with the sprays, and you can see that gold just looks so beautiful in that color there. I'm just in love with that, and I like that you can still see some of the paper through, the white through there. Gives it like a speckled hen kind of look. Yeah, so I'll have to do part 2 as maybe the gems, and then part 3 as the birds, I think. So might make it a 3-part series. Yeah, I'm really super happy with that. Thank you to Colour Me Stress Free for showing us how to make those spray dyes with the Inktense. I really liked that. That was such a good idea. Yeah, even though I don't have the Inktense blocks, it still worked with those pens. So yeah, make do. All right, guys, I will see you in part 2 doing the diamonds. I guess they're actually probably called stalagmites. I think the ones that grow from the bottom are stalagmites because they are quite long. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.